The Golem in Jewish mysticism is it's a being that they make out of clay, and then they write on their head. I believe it's the word Esh. I think
What
it
does that
might
mean?
it
Like
might
life?
it means like fire or light. It might actually be Shaddai, which is one of the names of God. I don't remember off the top of my head, but in Jewish mysticism, it's a figure that people made. I personally wouldn't try to make one because, and I don't know anyone that's tried. Um,
What
but
was the purpose? Why would somebody make a golem, and who would be the people that would do it?
the reason what there, so there's one particular story that I remember reading a long time ago in a Jewish I want to say like history book, but there was some urban legend in there as well, and it was I believe during the time of the Inquisition when Jews were being persecuted, and there was a small Jewish village who was scared that they were going to get blamed for, I believe it was poisoning the wells or something, and they decided to build a golem to protect them from the Spaniards as they were approaching their village, and they protected them and killed all the Spaniards. So I guess that would be one reason to do it. I assume, Jewish history. You can look in in certain works from like the Second Temple era and stuff like that. The name of God specifically, there are many of them. There's the ineffable name that I can't say as a Jew,
Do you know how to
but
pronounce it?
I know, but I can't.
Ah,
It's like
fair
against
enough.
Jewish law for me too. Um, like with the name of God, you can create miracles. That was something that it's not. I wouldn't call it magic because it's not like a. It's just using God's name to create amazing things. Um, the average person shouldn't do it, and it's not really common today, but it used to be back during the Temple era. So do I believe in golems? I mean, like I said, the name of God can be used. So if you write the name of God on the forehead of a clay thing, I wouldn't be surprised if it came alive. But
Is there
you
like a
know,
downside to it? Is there like a curse aspect to summoning a golem? And is
I
it Golem
mean,
or Gollum? I know one of them's a Lord of the Rings character, but I don't know if
probably,
he's named
probably,
after.
probably, probably Golem. To be honest with you, the only pronunciation I know is Golem, and that's just because they had him in Minecraft when I was a kid. So
Getting represented. Let's go.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, I know it's frowned upon to do stuff like that, but I don't know how. Again, this is like a very, very like you got to do a lot of research into this aspect to know a lot. And I'll just admit with you, man, I'm not the most knowledgeable when it comes to Golem specifically. Um, I know that the way that you would destroy a Golem is you just simply wipe the word off of their head, and then
Oh,
they would
that's interesting.
return to dust. So is that the end of it? I don't know.
Have you ever
But
seen the silent film from the 30s?
I can't say I have.
That's a wild watch. I'll show some footage of it here, but you should check that out. It's actually considered, if not the first, one of the earliest horror films and horror franchises because they made like two or three of the movies. And the second and
Mm.
third one, I believe, are lost, but the first one still exists partially. And it's
And
really wild looking.
you said it's about a golem.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact specific plot, but I'm kind of thinking it might be, and I'll put something on screen if I'm wrong, but I think it might
Okay.
actually be that instance you said of the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah, it's like that is probably the most famous story of like them erecting them, but there are many of them like throughout Jewish history. Like Europe was not a good place for the Jews in the middle centuries, but also in like Arab countries, Muslim countries during like the Caliphate. There are many different stories about it. I want to look up real quick. I want to make sure correct myself. Okay. So the word on the golem's head is actually emet, which means truth.
Oh,
Uh,
interesting.
so this is even more interesting. So it says that you write the word emet on the head and it becomes erect. And then to destroy it, you just erase the sound because you're left with the word met, which means dead.
Oh, that's interesting.
Interesting. Wow.
I wonder why truth and dead are so close together that you can erase a letter.
I don't know because life is truth and death is the end. I don't know. I don't know. The rabbis they have the rabbis are known for with there's something called gematria, which is like the value of numbers in each letter, and it's like something that I can't even begin to understand.
I know what you're talking about. I spoke to a rabbi about this. I didn't
Mhm.
understand it, but he was finding all sorts of things in the text where it would link to like diseases they didn't know about when they wrote it and stuff like that.
They know how to look very deep into the scriptures and writings and find stuff out. So the word truth, the reason they put it on the golem's head might be some very 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 specific thing that I just don't know, but I just can't tell you about. You got to think about it. If you go to like New York today, right, or Jerusalem, or Atlanta, or you'll see these places called yeshivas, where you have these young Jewish boys sitting over a table, bobbing their heads, reading over and over and over again the scriptures over and over and over and over. And typically religious Jews, they graduate from the yeshiva and they become rabbis or what have it be, and they do this all day, every day for their entire lives. Now think about that happening since they were exiled from the Second Temple in 70 CE. They're going to notice stuff in the letters, So these people, the knowledge that they have is absolutely it's phenomenal. That's why I also get kind of angry when I see people trying to say they understand Judaism, specifically anti-Semites, trying to say they understand anti-Semitism, or they understand Judaism better than a Jew does, when the Jews have been doing this for 2,000 years and still have questions. You know what I mean?
I love that statement, actually. That's a great one. 2,000 years and still have questions.
Yeah.
Speaking of questions, I have more cryptids I want to ask about.